Hello and welcome to the Driftwood book blog.
This week, guys, we've got a special treat for you because we're going to start the first of a series. And in this series, we're showing some of the adventures that Driftwood has been on in the past. So we're going to roll the clock back a few years to when I was a little bit younger looking and we sailed Driftwood all the way to France.
Now, when Harry says we, obviously it wasn't me. It was himself and his dad. I joined them later when the boat was in France.
Mark came over for the wine and the food and the beer.
And the sunshine. The sunshine.
So guys, just to give you a bit of perspective and to show you where we start this mammoth journey from. This is Albert Marina and this is at the very northern end of the River Shannon. Or at least it's towards the northern end of the Shannon.
Well, here we are, the day has come. Heading off on this boat here. Hopefully, with a little bit of good luck, we're going to get to France.
So here I am leaving Albert Marina. It's a bit of a tight squeeze and it's a delicate enough manoeuvre to get the boat out of here. I had kept everything very low key when I was leaving. My reason for that was I wasn't sure at the time that I was actually going to succeed in this journey, and I was sneaking out so that if things went wrong I'd have the opportunity to maybe sneak back in and nobody might have noticed. But as it turns out, of course, we did actually succeed. And I remember at this time feeling quite nostalgic and wondering, when will we ever be back?
We're just south of Risky now. The sun has gone in. It still looks okay. The forecast is for 4-6 to come up at some stage this evening, in the next 6 hours or so. And we're heading down to Loughree. We'll be crossing that sometime this evening. That's the big lake. So we'll see how that goes. That could be fun.
We actually skip ahead here to Lough Derg, another of the big lakes on the River Shannon. We're right down the very southern end of the river now.
Now that's where I stayed last night, in Gary Kennedy. And we're coming down here towards Parker's Point. I'll give you what it looks like in real life. That's Parker's Point up there. And that's Gary Kennedy back there. There's another boat that also came out of Gary Kennedy. It's gone a wee bit blurry. So, yeah, that's Gary Kennedy just there, the marker there.
So from Lough Derg we head on south towards the town of Killaloe, which for a long time was traditionally the end of navigation.
Half 5 you said that wasn't that?
Yep.
Come on, speak.
5 a.m. We're all up after about 5 hours sleep, if even that, on our way to Killarney, on our way to Limerick.
And you sing row row your boat.
So here we are, just about 5:15 now. The wind has dropped, mast is down, and we're just about ready to head on to there in another few minutes.
So from Killaloe we head on south, down here past Partine Weir, and from here we are going into the head race and heading towards the massive Ardnacrusha Dam. You can see the 4 turbines there of this dam as we make our approach. So this is Partine Weir here, guys, and I apologise for the shaky camera work. We head underneath that guillotine gate and that takes us into this. This is the concrete head race. This is a 2.5 mile long canal that supplies water to the turbines in the dam itself. That's our first sight of the dam. Like an iceberg, most of the dam is beneath the surface. And we go into the first chamber here, and this massive guillotine gate is lowered down behind us. And we'll drop a total of 100 feet in this dam. That's done between 2 different chambers. The first chamber takes you down about 40 feet. And then a door will open up in front of you. You head into the second chamber and you go down for the 60 feet. You can see we're sharing the dam with 3 other boats that are also heading into Limerick City. And as you get lower down in the loch here, the little letterbox of light up above you gets smaller and smaller. It's a little bit like getting lower down a grave, I would imagine. So here we are now exiting the loch. You can see the water is drifting off the guillotine gate there, and we're going into the tidal stretch of the River Shannon. From here it's about 20 minutes into Limerick City, and we're being accompanied on this trip from Killaloe into Limerick by some of Marianne's family, her brother Noel and wife Linda, as well as their 2 teenage kids, Keith and Amy. So it's always good to have a bit of a crew with you. So I say we're only about 20 minutes above Limerick now, so I'll give you a look at the map again. So there's Ardnacrusha Dam, and from here we'll head on south, down along the river here, and we meet an island. We must pass to the left or the north side of this island. This is down what they call the Abbey River, and we're right into Limerick City then. And where we're going to head to is this mooring here. It's a very secure mooring just above the weir. So still on the Shannon here now as we're making our approach towards Limerick City. And it's still very early in the morning. Remember, we have till about 5:30. This is the turn here into the Abbey River, and from this moment on the current really starts to pick up. It kind of gets funneled a wee bit as you approach Limerick City. Maybe I should explain that the reason we left Killaloo so early was we wanted to get into Limerick City at around 8 o'clock or maybe a little before if we could. The reason for that is that the turbines in the dam tend to come on at around 8 AM and they cause 1 knot of current per turbine. So if you can get through without them, you'll have a much more comfortable journey. This is the first sight of Limerick City as we make our approach here now, and it really is, it's a lovely approach, and unfortunately the video really doesn't do it justice. So we're just passing under this bridge here now. You can see there was a work barge there. I think they're making some kind of repairs to the bridge. And then on our right hand side there is the Absolute Hotel, and this bridge here in front of us is called Jim Kenny Bridge, and it's quite a difficult one to make this turn. Remember, the current is behind us, so we're trying to make this turn, pass underneath it. There's not really an awful lot of headroom, and you have to time that with the tide to make sure you do have enough headroom there. But once you get under that bridge, you're sure to pass under the next bridge, this one here in front of us, which is called Falls Bridge, and you have a little bit more clearance at this one. And as we go on to this, you'll see there is moorings on the right hand side, but we're not going to stay there because there isn't actually any security at those ones. We're going to continue on underneath this third bridge up ahead of us, the one with 3 arches on it, and there's moorings then just on the left hand side, and they're very, very secure. You have a fob to get in, to get out. You're moored right up in the centre of the city, and you have beautiful views of King John's Castle, the rapids in front of it, and it is actually probably one of the best moorings on the whole Shannon navigation system. It's one of my favourites. It does take a bit of planning to get a boat in there, but it's well worth it. This is King John's Castle, and Limerick City is very much a rugby city, rugby and hurling, and I think they are Munster rugby team flags flying off the castle. So that's Driftwood moored up there, and we came from the right hand side of your picture here. Had we not gone round the back of the island, we would have come down and met all those rapids, which wouldn't have been very good. So just to give you a bit of geography, show you where we are. Just zooming in here now, this is Limerick City, and you can see the weir in that photograph there, and you can see the moorings. That's where we're moored up now, and we're going to head from here out along the Shannon estuary. The estuary itself is quite a tricky navigation because the currents are very, very strong. You might just make out Shannon Airport there just right of the centre of your picture, just on the northern side of the river. From here then, the estuary starts to widen quite a bit and it becomes quite exposed. We'll head down here through Tarbert, and from there we're going to head into a spot called Kilrush Creek Marina. And you can see in your picture there that there's actually lock gates going into Kilrush Creek Marina, and as far as I recall, you have to time when you leave Limerick so that you arrive at Kilrush at the right state of tide so that you can actually lock up into the marina. But I may be wrong on that, that's my recollection of it, but if you know different, make sure to put something in the comments below. Just to zoom out, you can see that that's actually the last mooring before we head out into the Atlantic. Now we spent a day or two in Kilrush before we headed out, and as you can see there was quite a wind on the morning that we decided to leave and head away, but it was an offshore wind, and I'm told that on the west coast of Ireland an offshore wind is very rare. That's my father there looking a little bit concerned. I suspect he was hoping that I knew what I was doing, and I was hoping he knew what he was doing. That's a friend of my father who came along for the first leg of the journey, Malachi. So as we headed out into the estuary, initially things were quite good. It wasn't too rough, But unfortunately, as we exited the mouth of the Shannon estuary, conditions kind of deteriorated quite quickly. And when you've been used to rivers and lakes and canals, and you head out into the Atlantic Ocean, I can assure you it's something of a baptism of fire. I apologise for the shaky camera work here, but I trust that you'll understand that the man holding the camera was also shaking.
Well, here we are in Tralee. We're in Phoenix Bay, myself, Dad and Malachy. Came in yesterday, it was a bit lumpy coming down from Kilrush, but we got here safe and sound. Today the forecast is an awful lot better. The sun is out, you can see the lovely Kerry coastline, which we couldn't see yesterday because of the mist and the fog and all the rest. And it's down to force 2 to 3 today, which is really great. We want to head down to the Blasket Sound, and if it's calm enough, we'll be able to get some film. If it's like yesterday, we won't be able to get any film of it. That's Brendan there behind me, the navigator.
So guys, that brings us to the end of another episode. In the next episode in this series, we're going to be leaving from Phoenix, where we are now, and we're going to head down along the west coast all the way around to Cork Harbour. From Cork then, we're going to take a mammoth journey across the Celtic Sea to Cornwall in the UK. Now we will still have our normal episodes every Friday, but what I'm going to do is every once in a while over the dark winter nights, I'm going to release another episode in this series here, and that'll help to pass in the winter until we find ourselves back at a nice boating season again. So guys, thanks very much for watching, and to make sure you don't miss another episode, click on the subscribe button, tick the bell, and that way YouTube will let you know it's as soon as the next episode is out. Thanks for watching.
Cheerio.